And if you take all that knowledge and then you go back to your work and business and you apply those things there, then you are
Yeah,
certainly going to upgrade it.
yeah, of
So
course.
having university degree, I think, is imperative.
What I would suggest is even if you want to take that route, you should continue your education and then pursue something in parallel. So you can have both of those things going for you, that if this does not work out, you always have an education or a degree to rely on.
Where is the
Exactly.
plan? Where is
Yes.
the plan? What you want to do? Or sometimes they think that we need these 100,000, certain amount of money. Once we get it, we can start business like this.
So they're having Call of Duty lobbies in the class and they're just all playing. So they leave no opportunity to play.
Okay, Waleed, I also want you to tell me about the importance of planning. How much planning is important in your career, in job-wise and business-wise? Assalamu alaikum. मैं हूँ आपकी host Samia Mahmood. Today we are here with another episode of One Degree Change. The topic we are going to discuss today is why men do not complete their education. उनकी education में क्या challenges होते हैं और उनका drop out rate female से ज़्यादा high क्यों होता है. इन तमाम चीज़ों के बारे में हम discuss करेंगे और उस चीज़ के लिए मेरे पास है एक बहुत ही bright student वलीद, जिनको मैं introduce कराना चाहूँगी. वलीद ज़ैबिस्ट में BSCS के student हैं and he's mashallah very bright. He was my student, so I know his academics. So let's meet Waleed. Thank you, Waleed, for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
You're most welcome. और आपने टाइम स्पेयर किया आए और आज हम एक बहुत ही अहम टॉपिक मैंने चूज़ किया है
जी.
कि why men do not complete their education, especially university education. What are the challenges they face?
जी, इसमें we have a lot of different reasons why men cannot complete their education or what stops them from doing so. Because in most circumstances, the case is that these students, they want to complete their education, but there's a lot of family pressure, financial pressure, lots of other things, lots of responsibilities that they need to take care of, which stops them from completing the education. So, based on what I believe, I think it's primarily the reason that in most cases, men, they need to provide for their family.
Okay, but if they do not take education,
Yeah.
then it will be even challenging for them to provide for their family.
Yes, I believe
Because,
that.
they won't be able to go and get the good jobs. They won't
Yeah.
be a potential candidate for any company. So if they
Yeah.
won't, be qualified.
Yeah,
तो
so
उनके-
that's, I think, what's ultimately holding them back as well, because they're put into this dilemma where they have to either complete their education, either provide for the family. If you do both simultaneously, you'll be doing an internship or something which will not pay you enough to take care of your entire family, especially if you have that pressure on you. Then they sacrifice their education because they cannot sacrifice their families.
Right.
So they sacrifice their education, they work on lower jobs, and they know this as well in most cases, that if they do not complete their education, they won't end up as well off as the people that are educated.
Right.
But they have to take that hit just to provide for their family for that time being. And there's also some cases where people, they don't have any pressure, but they just drop out because they are influenced by these social media influencers.
Very right. This is what I really want to talk
Yeah.
about. That why we have started, degrading it or not taking it so serious that university education is important, is
Yeah.
necessary for at least you to graduate.
Yes,
So
of
that
course.
you can be qualified as a potential candidate.
Yeah.
Okay. So because I don't mind you to start a business or to be an entrepreneur, that's fairly fine. You want to do it, that's your vibe, go ahead. But this, through social media, some of the people have started convincing people that you're going to waste time and money in university and you will not get anything.
Yes.
Okay, so you start believing in yourself and start pursuing your passion without having anything in your hand.
Yeah.
What would you say about it?
I think in this problem that we're facing right now, that the social media influencers, they give examples of others. So some of these people, usually they get lucky.
They get lucky.
Some
And
of
the
them are
percentage is
talented.
very small, those who
It's
did
very
not
small.
have this, education and they
Yes.
started something. And
Because, yeah, with social media, you only see the success, you don't see the failures.
that's very right.
So once a person leaves education and tries to become an entrepreneur and they fail, you won't see them on social media. But the
Right.
ones who succeed, you'll see them on social media, and you'll just then think that most of the people end up succeeding. So
Yes.
that's why you are tempted to leave your education and do the same.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I would suggest is, even if you want to take that route, you should continue your education and then pursue something in parallel. So you can have both of those things going for you, that if this does not work out, you always have an education or a degree to rely on.
Okay, I want to ask you, how important is that to have an university degree in your hand?
It is very, very important in these times as well, because I think people, they say it was more important in the earlier days when we had no internet. Now we
Right.
have internet, we can learn everything online.
Online, YouTube is
Yeah,
there, teach you
which I
everything.
believe it's not completely wrong what they say, but what they're lacking here is the social skills that university provides you. You
That's
will
very
not learn
right.
that online. I feel like if you're in the age group after 18 to 24, let's say, in that age group, it should be like your first and foremost priority to finish your degree. क्योंकि अगर आप डिग्री फिनिश नहीं करते ना, तो आप अपने आप को बहुत जगहों से जो है ना डिस्क्वालीफाई कर देते हैं फॉर मैनी
Yes.
जॉब्स, फॉर मैनी
Your
रोल्स.
spectrum is very narrow then.
Yes, so you leave less opportunities for yourself if you don't have a degree. And if you're doing that on purpose, that you're not pursuing a degree even when you could, then I feel like you really need to evaluate and rethink that
Rethink
how
about
this
it.
is going to
Because,
affect you
some
long
people
term.
do not consider it important by thinking because they have a family business.
Yeah.
I have those business vibes. I'm not that kind of person who will be,
Yes, yes.
do the 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
People have sometimes this thing in their mind. That's why they also do not pursue education in university.
I think in that case, you need to teach the parents on how to bring up their children, where they have to be independent and they have to know that they can rely on their self to support them.
Very
Because
right.
if they're just relying on their parents' businesses, that means it's something that they have got an inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
If that business were to close down or were to shut down, then you cannot rebuild it.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. Then if that business runs out, or let's say if it's something that just goes out of the market, it's not popular anymore, then what do you do? Because you don't know how to run a business. You were just given a running business already, so you
Yeah.
cannot run another business, you cannot work in any other jobs because
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a degree. So what do you do in that situation? So I think in this case, the parents, they really need to see that their children are independent or not. Because if your children are independent, then it does not matter whether you give them the family business or not.
They know how to rebuild the empire or build the empire from
Yeah, they
scratch.
would know how to do it. And I've seen these clips of some popular celebrities, like
Mm-hmm.
let's say Steve Harvey, for example. He
Mm-hmm.
mentions it a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
where he does not like take his children on business flights, like business class flights. He'll
Mm-hmm.
put them in the economy side. He says
Mm-hmm.
you have to earn that yourself,
Yes.
even though he can afford it. But he tells them that you need to afford, you need to have at least a degree
Mm-hmm.
to like have fun with me. So he'll just
Right.
not spend his own money on them for no reason.
Yeah, yeah.
He'll give them the basic necessities, but not everything.
I think it's very important in our Pakistani culture, especially that, I have seen that sometimes we people say that because we are from the business family or we are well off, we do not want our children to do any kind of, hard work in their life.
Yeah.
We will build an empire for them and we want to have a very blessed and happy life. That
Yeah. So the parents' perspectives is that they have worked hard for this and they
Yes,
know how hard they need to work for this. So they don't want their children to go through the same thing.
right.
But I think it's rather spoiling the children. It's not actually benefiting them. If you want to really have the best for your children, then you need to make sure that they know how to do all of this, even if
Yes.
they don't have to.
Yeah, and for this we need to change the mindset of parents. Like what you said, that
Yeah.
sometimes it's not that we have to only educate the new generation, also the old generation. They
Yeah.
have to sometimes unlearn their old beliefs and sometimes relearn that what's
Yeah.
beneficial for their generation, in 10 years or 50 years time. And especially when you do not have university degree, also it doesn't equip you to upgrade the businesses you're already having even.
Yeah.
Maybe better about AI, something more about cybersecurity through your university degree, all these things. And if you take all that knowledge and then you go back to your work and business and you apply those things there, then you are
Yeah.
certainly going to upgrade it.
Yeah, of
So
course.
having university degree, I think, is imperative.
Yeah, even if you're doing, let's say, BBA or MBA in university, and then you go and run a business, In that case, you'll know how you'll market your business, how you
Right.
approach the customers, how you run your internal processes, how you deal with your vendors.
Right.
So you'll have a better understanding of how everything's working around you.
Right.
And you'll have a bigger, broader mindset, and you'll have more ideas to improve your
To
business.
improve. Yeah, very right. Also, I want to ask you one more thing, that why is it very challenging for boys to seek education or to complete university education? What are the
Uh,
key challenges that they are having?
the key challenges,
They don't want to be in the class is boring.
the class is
They don't
boring.
want to
That
go.
is one of them.
Yes.
But I think the primary challenge is, of course, taking care of the family. So they need to do that in most cases where they feel like they are old enough and they're wasting time in university, wasting money, in fact,
Okay.
where they should be earning. That's what
Earn.
they think. The other thing is that boys, they can get labor jobs as well. They'll do like hard work. They'll like drive a taxi or something instead of an education. So girls, they won't do these sort of things. So they know they have to focus on education to get a good white collar job. But for boys, they know they can just do labor jobs as well, or they'll just try to find more opportunities somewhere in the market. So they'll try to skip the university life because they feel like it's a waste of your 4 years.
अच्छा वलीद, आप मुझे ये भी बताएं कि अपार्ट फ्रॉम फाइनेंशियल चैलेंजेस बॉयज़ को कौन से और तरह के चैलेंजेस होते हैं जिसकी वजह से वो यूनिवर्सिटी डिग्री कंप्लीट नहीं कर पाते?
आई थिंक बॉयज़ को जो है ना बहुत ज़्यादा एक तो फन करने का शौक होता है।
यानी कि
आई
डिस्ट्रैक्शंस बहुत आती हैं
बहुत ज़्यादा। आई बीइंग अ बॉय आई नो दैट कि I just want to have fun all the time.
ऑल द टाइम.
Yeah, but I think I'm a bit more focused on the studies because I know how important it is. But for most of the boys, it's like they think sitting in class is a waste of time. So even if they're in university, they'll bunk the classes, sit outside with the boys, and then just
In the
chat.
cafeteria.
In the cafeteria, you'll find them in the food court, you'll find them in the corridors. They're not afraid of the professors anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
So you'll find them just talking, just sharing memes with each other, even inside of the class.
Yes.
So you'll just be sitting, you get a notification from your phone, you'll open that, it'll be a meme from the person sitting behind you. So he's just scrolling Insta in the middle of the class,
And
sharing
sometimes
memes
they're
in the
also
group.
playing games.
They're playing games too. So
Yeah.
they're having Call of Duty lobbies in the class and they're just all playing. So they leave no opportunity to play. And boys usually, they don't separate like having that fun time with their like professional life. So if whether it's academics or whether it's work, they'll try to incorporate both of them together. Like even in those professional times, they'll try to incorporate fun in it.
Yeah, because sometimes they have some game parallel to and open on another window.
Yeah.
Where they switch to the other
Yeah,
window.
even in offices they do that, and
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they're working remote, they'll play games. I know a lot of my friends who do that, where they're working from home, but they'll be sitting on the PlayStation with their laptop open in front in case any work comes. Otherwise, they'll be focused on the game all time. So I think this attitude's a bit non-serious. It's a bit childish from the boys' end, but I do understand them being a boy, that fun is very important. And even for me,
They
like
need to de-stress themselves.
de-stress is a
But
very
what
important
is
word.
causing them stress so much in the first place?
All of these responsibilities that you have, I
अभी
think
तो
it's
उठाई भी नहीं है, अभी तो ग्रेजुएट नहीं हुए.
वो आने वाली है ना. So you
ये सोच के थक गए.
हाँ, आप देख रहे होते हैं कि they are coming towards you. It's like you're standing in front of the ocean or wave आ रही है आपकी तरफ. So you have to be ready for them. And I feel like there's also societal expectations which you need to match, because I think that's just added pressure on you.
बट अगर इतना सारा प्रेशर है फिर तो ज्यादा सीरियस होके पढ़ना है.
हाँ, लेकिन वही प्रेशर हटाने के लिए for temporary time being, they try to de-stress themselves by all these fun and activities. They'll go out with the boys, go play some games, maybe sit out in the desert, go to the mountains, do all of these activities just to distract themselves and have a little bit of fun, which is temporary.
Okay. And how to bring them back to focus?
To bring them back to focus, we need to tell them about time management, first of all. Time management is very important. So if you want to have fun, that's fine. But you need to skip that in the professional areas of your life. So if you're working, if you're sitting in office, you should not be thinking about, okay, what's my next plan with the boys? If you're sitting in the class, you should not be sharing memes during that. You can go home, do that all you want. So you have to allocate time to all of these different activities.
Yeah, because being a teacher, you cannot micromanage students all the time, like what they
Yes.
are sharing, what they are doing. Yeah, if someone is creating a lot of distraction, then you will call that person out and
Yeah.
tell them, to put their phone on silent. But other than that, boys also I need some, I think, some type of mindset where they would know that education and research and development is very, very important,
Yeah.
and education doesn't stop after just graduating from the university. Even if you do a business, the more homework you have done for your business, the better planning you have done
Yeah.
for your business, then it will be a lot easier for you to be successful. Okay, Waleed, I also want you to tell me about the importance of planning. How much planning is important in your career, job wise and business wise?
So planning, I think it starts from the smaller bits, like let's say your daily routine. I think that needs to be planned out first. So once you have like a daily routine where you know, okay, this is the time frame. For example, for me, I'll wake up. I know I have work or uni. Then I'll take a nap. So all of these things are planned.
आपने मुझे कुछ याद कराया मुझे जॉर्डन पीटरसन की एक बात याद आई he said that a lot because he's a clinical psychologist,
Yeah.
so he said a lot of patients come to me whose life is messed up, their relations are messed up, and they say we want to fix our life. From where we can start? And he said, start cleaning your room first. So
Okay.
once your surroundings are
Yeah.
organized, your thoughts will be organized, and
That.
everything thing will start falling into place.
Yeah, I think that is very true, especially with my mother. She wouldn't let me sit without cleaning my room, so I know that very well.
This is
You have to
important.
clean your room first, then you do anything else.
Apparently, it's a small task,
Yeah,
but that has a very great, long lasting ripple
yeah.
effect in your
I
life.
think it's basically a discipline in your life,
Disciplining
which you
in,
know what
yes.
to do. So same with the daily routines. Like if you have a fixed routine, it teaches you discipline.
It teaches
Once
you
you have
discipline.
discipline, you can do a lot more than you count yourself that you can do. So to start off with the routine, like if you have a very specified routine, this is my working hours, this is my like fun hours, this is my gym time. So all of those things, they teach you that you need to allocate time to everything, and
Right.
you need to only be focused on that thing at that time.
At that time, that's,
Yeah.
sometimes people, they are claiming that they are multitasker, but sometimes what happens is they mix up everything,
Yes.
and they are not doing anything properly.
Yeah, if you're multitasking and you're doing many things at once, then you're not doing anything
Anything
properly.
at all, yeah.
So you have to have your focus on one thing at a time. So if you're studying, if you're in university, if you're inside of the class, then your focus needs to be on the professor. Your focus shouldn't be on your phone. Your focus shouldn't be chatting with the one sitting beside you. You need to be very focused on what's happening right now, because that time, it does not come back to you. Once it's gone, it's gone.
It's
Whatever the
gone.
professor has explained, it's gone now. And I think it's more about not learning the theory and stuff. It's more about learning the practicality of these things.
Okay, also, and if you're not interested in theory, I also say this to my students, then start asking some questions to your teachers, because
Yeah.
then you will be up, you will be engaged with the teachers, they will also be
Yes.
engaged with you, and there will be a healthy discussion in the class. So at
Yeah.
least you will learn something through discussion. If you're not interested, then start asking questions.
Yeah, you should ask questions. And I think here's where the education system also plays a role, where the education system is very rigid and it's the same for every student. So now every student's not the same. Some people, they like maths more, some people, they like creative things more, some people, they are into science. So everyone's different. But in our education system, I get there are some basics which everyone should know, of course. So until like, let's say, primary school or like very elementary school, we could have the same education for everyone because everyone needs to know these things. But after that, I feel like it should be more flexible according to the students.
But we have different types of degrees in arts,
Yeah,
in
we do.
education, in
But
computer
again,
science.
even within that, like let's say we're studying computer science right now.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people who are interested in computer science, but they don't want to study courses which are more
Because
related to.
sometimes people are not like, they do not like programming, some people don't
Yeah.
like coding, they like the
Yeah.
other subjects more than this. So this is,
Yeah, but in some cases we have fundamentals, like
yes.
people complain about maths playing a strong role in computer science, But at the end of the day, if you're not good at maths, you cannot be good at computer science, programming, networking, specifically those fields.
Right.
So I understand in that case, you need to incorporate maths with it. But otherwise, like the education system, it's very rigid where like hundreds of people, they're studying the exact same thing.
Same thing, yes.
But those hundreds of people, they are not the same.
Not the same, and they won't end up in doing the same job as well.
Yeah,
You know,
they're all,
everybody's going to a different field, slightly
yeah.
different thing.
So I feel like education system needs to adapt to the students more rather than the
Yes.
students adapting to the education system,
All
because
right.
that's what end up happening where the students they just accustom themselves to the education system, and especially in Pakistan, let's say the education system is built up on a memory test basically. It does not
Yes.
test your actual knowledge; it tests how well you can memorize.
And it also doesn't test your skills.
Yeah.
The skills that are very, very, very important at your workplace. उसमें communication skill आ जाता है, आपके negotiation, decision making skills आते हैं, आपके emotional
Yes.
intelligence आता है. Students ये चीज़ें ना तो सीखते हैं ना practice करते हैं.
Yeah.
Later in corporate life, ठीक है, आपके जो भी आप जहाँ भी जाते हो आपकी कंपनी, फिर वो आपको इन चीज़ों की ट्रेनिंग्स के लिए आपको बाहर कहीं भेजते हैं, ठीक है.
Yes.
सो आई थिंक बिकॉज आई ऑल्सो आई एम अ ट्रेनर, मुझे लगता है कि ये चीज़ें यूनिवर्सिटी से ही स्टार्ट हो जानी चाहिए.
हाँ,
स्किल्स
यूनिवर्सिटी स्टार्ट होनी चाहिए. इनफैक्ट अगर स्कूल से भी हो सकती है तो बहुत अच्छा है.
दैट्स ग्रेट.
I've noticed this that schools nowadays they have started prioritizing presentations and everything. जो भी students होंगे they have to present. Because back in my days when I studied from schools, I did not have presentations or anything. Very rarely
Very rare.
in a school I've presented. But as soon as I came to university in the first semester, I had like 3, 4 presentations. And that's when I started developing my presentation skills. So I did not have any presentation skills
Up
until I was
that
18.
time.
Yeah.
Yes. And
So-
imagine if you have skipped the university.
Yeah, then
And
you
you've been
don't
dreaming
know-
about a big
Yes.
businessman. I
Yeah.
don't mind that. But because university has equipped you with the skills that you will require later in your life.
Yes.
Okay, that's why.
Even if you're pursuing a business or you have that dream of creating a business, even in that case, I think you need to have a degree. You can do a bachelor's in business administration, know about businesses, how they work, and then you can plan out the business and then do it. Again, it comes to planning. So people lack planning where what they'll do is they'll start off by getting the business license. They'll be like,
yes.
That's not the
Thank
start
you
that you
for
should take.
bringing it up.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that they think they require is we need to have license in our hand to start the
Yes.
business. Where is the planning phase? Where is the
Exactly.
plan?
Yes.
Where is the plan? What do you want to do? Or sometimes they think that we need these 100,000, certain amount of money. Once we get it, we can start business like this.
Yes, and so the planning here is that you need to know what your customer segment will be, what your supply of chain will be, who are you targeting, what's your marketing tactic, what's your employee structure going to look like. So you don't know all of these things, and if you just register a business license, then you're sitting with that license in your hand and you're not running anything. You're
And
just
waiting
wasting
for
time.
a miracle.
Yeah, and you're just wasting time, the time that is given to you in that license. So you'll just waste the first year of having that license by not engaging in any business activities, and you'll still be in the planning phase, which should have done like before, should have been done before that.
ओके, तो प्लान अच्छा, वरीद आप मुझे ये भी बताएं कि बॉयज़ अपने करियर के हवाले से या बिजनेस के हवाले से मेंटोरशिप कहाँ से लेते हैं और कहाँ से लेनी चाहिए?
जहाँ से लेते हैं that is basically social media as of now.
ओके.
और जहाँ से लेनी चाहिए it should be proper career advisors who look at themselves like the students और इनकी क्या strengths हैं, क्या weaknesses हैं, उसके हिसाब से उनको guide करें कि let's say okay if you're strong in presentations or you're strong in communications, you can be like a client management partner or something where you are the one dealing with the clients, you're on the front face of the company. If you're like more technical or something,
Okay, and who should play this part? Tell me.
career advisors should play these part.
Okay, हम
and-
कहाँ से लाएं career advisors?
हमें ऐसे लोगों को करियर एडवाइजर्स में लाना चाहिए जिन्होंने मल्टीपल रोल्स में काम किया हुआ.
Okay.
सो अगर उन्होंने अलग अलग इंडस्ट्रीज में काम किया हुआ, अलग अलग रोल्स में काम किया हुआ, तो उनको आइडिया होगा कि फॉर दिस रोल यू नीड टू हैव दिस, फॉर दिस रोल यू नीड टू हैव दीज स्ट्रेंथ्स, दीज वीकनेसेस. सो
और इसके लिए मैं खुद मेरा ये व्यू है कि ऐसे लोगों को जिन्होंने मल्टीपल इंडस्ट्रीज़ में काम किया किया हुआ हो उनको खुद आगे आना चाहिए और यूथ के साथ इंटरेक्ट करना चाहिए कि आप
जी,
अगर हमारी कम्युनिटी के हो, ठीक है, तो आपको किस किस एरिया में जाना चाहिए, किस किस एरिया
जी,
में आपके लिए आसानी है, कौन से आपके स्किल्स हैं, आपको क्या करना चाहिए। तो मैं ये सोचती हूँ कि इस चीज़ का रोल को हम एक जगह स्पेसिफाई नहीं कर सकते कि सिर्फ स्कूल में, क्योंकि स्कूल में करियर फेयर्स होते हैं और यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में भी होते
जी,
हैं, दे विल टेल, ऑफ कोर्स दे विल प्रमोट देमसेल्व्स एंड दे विल टेल यू ओके दिस इज़ द यूनिवर्सिटी
यस,
और दीज आर द डिग्रीज दैट यू शुड परसू। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट मुझे लगता है हर वो बंदा जो सक्सेसफुल है ही शुड बी अ मेंटोर to the
यस,
people, his friends, his families, his acquaintances, okay, around him. उसको उन्हें गाइड करना चाहिए कि अब
या,
आपने करियर में अब आपने ये अचीव कर लिया बच्चे, अब आप ये अचीव करो। फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू आर अ वेरी सक्सेसफुल स्टूडेंट, ठीक है, आप हमेशा A+ ग्रेड लेते रहे हैं,
यस,
तो आपकी ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, ठीक है, और ये आपकी मॉरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, ठीक है, इसके आपको यू विल नॉट बी पेड फॉर इट,
या, ऑफ
नॉट
कोर्स,
इन दिस दुनिया, इंशाल्लाह आखिरत।
इंशाल्लाह,
अच्छा वलीद, मैं आपको ये कह रही थी कि ये अब आपकी भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि आप भी मेंटोरशिप की फील्ड में आ जाएं, ठीक है,
जी,
जो भी आपके आपसे यंग हैं या आपके पीयर ग्रुप भी हैं, ठीक है, बिकॉज यू नो बेटर, इफ़ यू नो समथिंग बेटर देन यू हैव टू स्टार्ट टीचिंग, यू
you
डोंट हैव
have to
टू।
teach it to others, of course. Even in, I think this applies to your workplace, your friends, family,
वेरी
your
राइट।
siblings, all of them. So if you have learned something through your experience, which you feel like it's valuable, so you should pass it on to others. Because if the knowledge stays with you, it's just not useful at all.
नॉट and it will die with you.
It will die with
So
you.
before you leave the world, make sure that you have passed it on.
Yes, all of the knowledge that you have should be passed on in terms of books, researches, whatever you can do, publish research papers, publish books, publish blogs, articles. So, whatever you can do to pass on knowledge, try your best. Like, hold these mentorship meetings with your younger ones. It doesn't have to be younger ones,
It
too.
doesn't, thank you. Thank you. It
Yeah,
doesn't have to be younger. But even you can, if you know something better, you can also teach that to your parents. That
yes,
this is something new, that this is more relevant. Sometimes लोग कहते हैं कि हमारे जो बड़ों ने कहा वो ठीक है, that's right. मैंने कहा अगर हमेशा बड़े ठीक होते तो इस्लाम कभी ना आता,
yeah.
ठीक है। तो
I
मतलब
think that's also a cultural problem as well that we have, where जो बड़ों ने कह दिया वो ठीक है,
हम्म
उनको कुछ नहीं कहना.
हम्म।
I am very like against this. I'm
Yes.
rebellious. So I think
Me too. In a way, I thought that in some ways I have also parented my parents as well. In some cases, yeah, I have
okay.
taught them this is how it is. This is how it is. This is the not the right way. It's the old way of
Yeah.
looking at things. Yeah, so it's good.
So even in organization or organizations and stuff where like the senior person, he would just torture the younger juniors for no reason. So you need to understand that people growing up in different generations, they have different perspective,
Very right.
they have different experiences, they have experienced life completely differently. So once you grow up differently, then your mindset is different. So you cannot expect everyone to be just like you. You can
Mm-hmm.
just say कि तुम्हारी एज में तो मैं ये करता था. Like
Mm-hmm.
the society was different back then. Everything
Mm.
was completely changed. There's a lot of things which the younger generation does better. There's a lot of things which the older generation does better. So you need to see that everyone has their differences and you cannot expect everyone to be the same.
Yes, क्योंकि evolution में चीज़ें हमेशा upgrade होंगी और change होती रहेंगी
जी,
अपने time के हिसाब से.
of course. जैसे मतलब society में I feel like there's a sort of an entitlement where the older generation have
Mm-hmm.
that I am older, I know this, I have experience. Okay, like in some cases that applies where you have experience, it comes in handy. But in other scenarios, things they change completely.
Mm-hmm.
मतलब जो पहले आपने experience किया था अब वो बदल गया, like that does not exist anymore, or there's like a faster efficient way of
Of
doing
doing
things.
things, yes.
Then you cannot say कि ये मैं पहले कर चुका हूँ so I know this,
Mm-hmm.
because the dynamic has completely changed now.
हम्म। अच्छा, कमिंग बैक टू द टॉपिक, बॉयज़ जो अपनी मेंटोरशिप कहाँ से इजीली या अच्छे तरीके से एक्सेप्ट करेंगे, कमिंग फ्रॉम देयर पेरेंट्स और कमिंग फ्रॉम देयर फ्रेंड्स, what is the right way, anything that will click to them more?
I think it's the friends that can do more as compared to the parents, because parents जो हैं आपको बहुत ज़्यादा चीज़ें सिखाते हैं, And in that time frame, sometimes you just get bothered, where you're like, okay, they're always lecturing me. So
Mm.
sometimes you get tired and
Yes,
you
you're
ignore
bored
their.
and tired of the same thing,
Yeah.
listening over and over.
So because they'll just keep saying that to you over and over again. If a friend says it to you, you might be able to understand it more,
Mm-hmm.
because you'll think that the friend is in a more relatable situation to you.
Right.
So they're in a more similar situation to you.
Hmm.
So if they're suggesting something, then you're more inclined towards
A
hearing them
personal
out.
question. आप
Yeah.
mentorship के लिए कहाँ जाते हैं?
Uh, for me, my elder sister, she's a
Okay.
very good mentor of mine, especially in university. She
MashaAllah.
was my senior, so as soon as I rolled into university, I started asking her about stuff, about professors, courses, how do I do this assignment,
Mm-hmm.
what's the formatting should I follow, all of these things, and all of the exceptional grades that I have right now in university. I'd say that
Credit goes to her.
credit goes to her largely, but not entirely. Largely though. So she has helped me out a lot in university life, professional life, and also just normal morals, ethics.
Mm-hmm.
She has taught me a lot of things, and I feel like that's where the element of relatability comes as well. So
Right.
if something's coming from her, I understand her
Mm-hmm.
a lot more well, because I know she's coming from a similar situation as me. So
Mm-hmm.
she can put herself in my shoes as well, and
Mm-hmm.
then also understand my problems.
Right. So boys can take mentorship from their eldest sister. That's one
Yes,
thing.
from siblings,
From
from
siblings and
parents.
parents, and apart from that, friends.
Apart from that, friends, even cousins as well, they
Mm-hmm.
also apply. So they're basically siblings at this point for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very close with most of my cousins, and it's like we're a huge family. So we take advice from each other, we suggest each other things, we also work on projects together professionally.
Mm-hmm.
So when we do that, then it's all professional. So
Okay.
in that case, we don't involve our families or our relations in that. So it's completely professional between me and my cousins.
Okay. Also, sorry, because you talked about your professional life as well. So I also want you to tell us about your professional life, like how you are able to, take two things parallel. Is it very tiring to work and study together, or
Yes, it does get tiring. It gets sometimes overwhelming, where you have work 3 days a week, then you have like university the other days of the week. So you get no weekends, you get no rest days. But I think that's how it should be, so that you can rest later on.
in
Because,
life?
yeah,
Yes.
because if you rest right now, then you'll be struggling later on. So I would prefer to struggle right now
Mm-hmm.
than rest later on in life. So it does get hectic where you have to manage times, you have to look at things. Sometimes in universities, you have final year project coming up, you have assignments coming up, you have lots of presentations that you have to do. And then even for work, you have to prepare documents, do this, do that. So there's a lot of things that you need to parallelly have in your mind. And you need to be having basically two minds at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
once for work, once for uni. So
Okay.
you can't be just forgetting things,
You
mixing up
think
things.
is this thing is difficult for most of the boys or not really? Or maybe
Uh,
they think it's difficult, that's why they don't do it and they wait for their
y-
graduation and
yeah,
then
I think that's the case where they think it's difficult, so they don't pursue it. But later on, they usually go on to regret it, because when they graduate, you're a fresh graduate without experience. You've not completed any internships or any
and they will
work
take you as an
experience.
internee anywhere you
Yes.
go.
So wherever you apply, they'll only take you as an internee, not as a full time person. If you have already interned before, then by the time you graduate, you have 1 year, 2 years of experience in organizations. You learn a lot of things in that dynamic as well.
Hmm.
Like for me, for example, I work in my related field. So whatever I'm studying, I'm also applying there.
Okay.
So the advantage is that I learn a lot of things from my work, which I apply in my university life,
Okay.
and
Everything
vice
start
versa.
making sense.
Yeah, everything starts making sense, because in university we are studying about theories, let's say how databases work. But if
Right.
you've never built a database for someone, how would you know like
Mhm.
what are the important things that you need to consider?
Mhm.
So with my work, the good thing is that it's related to my industry.
So you
So
can practically see things happening
yes,
in real life.
I can
And
practically
also,
see.
once you come back, you can tell in the class that these are the latest things that are already in the
Yeah.
market.
And then these are the things what usually clients expect from this industry, from that industry. So if you're working with people across different industries, then you'll know like how the industry dynamics are, what are the like priorities that people have when running a business. So I think that also helps you in your business as well. Like if you want to start your own business, you want to start your own planning, if you have worked with a lot of other business owners or a lot of other CEOs, you'll know what's their way of thinking, and you could always like put yourself in that place where you'll think, okay, if मेरी जगह पे ये होता, वो क्या सोचता, what decisions would he take? So in that case, you can also learn a lot from others.
That's very right. अच्छा, आप मुझे एक ये भी बात बताएं कि हम इस चीज़ को कैसे इनकरेज करें, स्पेशली बॉयज़ में, कि यूनिवर्सिटी एजुकेशन इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट। ठीक है, आपने जो भी करना है करें, पहले इसको कंप्लीट करें। ठीक है,
Yeah.
तो उस चीज़ को हम कैसे दोबारा लोगों को इंट्रोड्यूस करा सकते हैं, बिकॉज सोशल मीडिया ने तो ये मेमोरी आपकी थोड़ी सी डिलीट कर दी। ठीक है,
Yes.
कि इट्स नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट एनीमोर, इट्स इररेलेवेंट, आप स्किल्स पे फोकस करें और स्किल्स काम आएंगे। ठीक है, लेकिन अगर आपके पास 4 साल की डिग्री होती है ना, इसका मतलब बेसिकली ये होता है कि एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को पता होता है कि ये शख्स 4 साल तक कहीं गया है, अटेंडेंस कंप्लीट की है, असाइनमेंट्स कंप्लीट किए हैं, प्रेजेंटेशन दी है, तो उसने एटलीस्ट ये काम इन 4 सालों में किया है। सो ही
Yeah.
हैज़ दोज बेसिक स्किल्स एटलीस्ट।
Yes.
So if we hire him, he will show up every day at the same time.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's used to that. He
He's
has
used to that. वो एक
discipline.
structured environment में उसने रहा है, उसने एक routine follow की है. So he is disciplined enough.
Yeah.
So at least it qualifies you to be disciplined enough. तो ये boys को ये चीज़ें consider करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि इस चीज़ को अगर हम एक fancy चीज़ बना देंगे society
जी.
के लिए, so where are we heading? आपको पता है हमारे statistics graduation को लेकर कितने हैं?
हमारे स्टैटिस्टिक्स काफ़ी बुरे हैं अभी एजुकेशन को लेके. It is improving slowly but
So
surely, but I think we need to have it increase more rapidly, the graduation rates that we have. मतलब in our universities, like 23-25% of the males particularly, they just drop out in the middle of the university, which
all
is
right,
one
that's alarming, by the way.
yes, 1 in every 4 person that enrolls into a university drops out, which is alarming. So why are they interested in taking admission in the first place if they're not going to continue it? That means they had an interest, but that something held them back, and then they decided not to pursue it anymore. So we need to identify those problems.
Those
कि
problems,
क्या चीज़ें उनको जो रोकती हैं एजुकेशन से, because it's not like they're not interested, they are interested, that's why they apply.
or maybe they have done it just because they want to tell their family, look, I have taken admission in university. या sometime girls का तो अमूमन ये होता है कि चलो शादी में आसानी होगी कि आपके पोर्टफोलियो पे ये चीज़ आ जाएगी
जी.
कि you are graduated from this. For guys, yes, if they have,
उनके लिए भी शादी में आसानी हो जाती है अगर ग्रेजुएटेड है.
by far. लेकिन okay, वलीद, आप हमें बताएं कि apart from institutions, ठीक है, what are the other factors जो boys की success में एक अच्छा किरदार अदा कर सकते हैं?
I think family is very important. So अगर आपके father का आपके साथ बहुत अच्छा relationship है, so I think you can learn a lot of things from him. You can learn from his mistakes. You can learn from his experiences.
Very right.
Because even when it comes to learning from mistakes, I think it's better कि आप किसी और की गलती से सीख लें बजाय कि आप खुद गलती करें फिर उससे सीखें. So you should always be a step ahead in this. And I feel like with fathers, they have experienced so much and they have gone through the same things that you are going through. So I feel like they are very understanding and they would know कि आपको मतलब किस तरह feel हो रहा है और what you are thinking about.
Yeah, ideally they should help.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah, ideally they should help. And if they are not helping, I want our fathers, I want to request कि especially जो आपके boys हैं, ठीक है, आपको उनसे एक close communication में रहना चाहिए.
Yes,
ठीक है?
because mothers से होती हैं close communication में.
Right.
But I feel like they do not think the same way a man would.
Yes, एक मैं बुक पढ़ी थी, द बॉय क्राइसिस, उसमें उसने कहा था कि जितना बच्चे को सोशल इंटेलिजेंस बाप दे सकता है ना, माँ नहीं दे सकती किसी भी कीमत पे.
Of course.
ठीक है, ही वॉज अमेरिकन रिसर्चर और ये बहुत कमाल किताब है. उसमें उसने बताया था कि एक बॉय की इमोशनल स्टेबिलिटी के लिए और उसकी सक्सेस के लिए द रोल ऑफ फादर इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, इज़ क्रूशल. Like there is no substitute, and if there is no father in his life, then there should be some father figures, some male mentors around his
Yes.
life that will guide him how to be a good man, how to be a good breadwinner, how to be a good businessman, because they will straighten his life up. Because
Yes.
all the casual talks that he will have on his dinner table with his family or with that especially male figure will shape up his life. That will
Yeah.
describe his life. How will he be father, in future?
Yes, because people around you, they basically shape your life.
That's very right.
They like who you're close with, they are the ones who lead you. So
Right.
if you're close with very good people, then they'll lead you through a good path and they'll help you become more successful. But if you're friends with bad people, then they'll take you on an addiction path or something.
Right.
So
Right.
it depends on कि आपके आसपास कौन-कौन है, and in some cases it's not the individual's fault that they are surrounded by some such people.
Right.
But in most cases, you can choose who you are surrounded by, and I
Right.
feel like that's very important. And you should not just go and sit around with anyone. You should see कि अगर मैं इसके साथ बैठ रहा हूँ मेरा कोई फ़ायदा हो रहा है or it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, because they say you are the average sum of the people that you hang around with.
Yes, that is very true. So I feel like in this case के जो fathers की जहाँ तक बात है especially अगर वो अपने बच्चों के साथ अच्छी relations नहीं रखते and मतलब
Sometimes
in
they are very strict.
they're very
They
strict
are trying to
and
discipline a lot.
yes, so in that case I think कि बच्चे जो होते हैं वो फिर और चीज़ें हाइड करने लग जाते हैं fathers.
Yes.
एक तो वो पहले ही strict हैं, he's not understanding, and then second, since the children know कि वो strict हैं, they'll hide more things from them.
Right.
So they'll that's where the emotional stability comes कि आप अपने अंदर चीज़ें pile up करते रहते हैं and you have no one to talk to and you have no one that would understand you
And guide you through.
and guide you through it. So because everyone has bad times, good times, right?
Very
So in
right.
bad times you need someone to guide you. Especially with boys, they don't talk to anyone about it.
Yes.
If they're
Because
feeling bad,
they keep their emotions to
they
themselves.
keep their emotions to themselves. I think that's because again society, they teach you from a younger age okay, you're a boy, you're a boy, you're a boy, so you don't show your emotions
मर्द को
anywhere,
दर्द
right?
नहीं होता.
मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता. So yeah, anything bad happens you cannot show it. So that's why
But that sinks to your subconscious.
yes,
And
that's
that makes you coward.
yeah,
Then you because you have no अपने आपने इमोशंस को वोकलाइज नहीं किया.
yeah,
ठीक है, आपने उन्हें वेंट आउट नहीं किया राइट टाइम पे, तो आप बहुत सारी जिंदगी में चीज़ों को आपने सॉर्ट आउट ही नहीं किया. इसका मतलब सो यू हैव
yeah,
दैट थिंग पाइल्ड अप इन योर हेड
already, yeah,
ऑलरेडी.
and then anything else comes up and then you're just too overwhelmed.
Too overwhelmed and sometimes you are too scared to take
Yeah,
any new risk, to take any new path. So मैं हमेशा ये बात कहती हूँ कि if you are a successful male person, start parenting more kids.
yeah,
ठीक है, your own kids, especially sons, more sons. Okay, cousin sons, more people. Just whenever you have free time, you have free time. Make them sit around you and start telling them about your business success, your challenges, all these things.
yeah,
क्योंकि जितनी कैजुअल गैदरिंग में इंसान सीखता है, फॉर्मल गैदरिंग में शायद उतना नहीं सीखता क्लासेस में.
true.
ठीक है, सो जितने भी हमारे सक्सेसफुल मेल फिगर्स हैं, ठीक है, उनसे
जी.
मेरी यही रिक्वेस्ट होती है, स्टार्ट पेरेंटिंग मोर चिल्ड्रन. ठीक है, आपके डू नॉट वेट अंटिल यू बायोलॉजिकली बिकम अ पेरेंट. ठीक है, जितने भी आपके पास पीपल अराउंड यू हैं एंड यू थिंक कि आपके एडवाइस उनको हेल्प कर सकती है, गो अहेड एंड डू इट. ये
Of
सदका
course.
जारी है.
जी. और फिर मतलब it will somehow reward you back always,
Very
whether in
right.
this life or the afterlife. आपको हमेशा उसका फायदा होता है कहीं ना कहीं if you're helping out others.
वेरी राइट. अच्छा वलीद, अब मेरा ये लास्ट सवाल है आपसे. क्या आपने जितनी भी हमने बॉयज़ की सक्सेस और फेलियर्स के बारे में बात किया, आप इस चीज़ को कैसे समराइज़ करेंगे?
I think to summarize, हमें as a society चाहिए कि more of our boys get successful
Yes,
and
we should be obsessed with it.
we should be
बॉयज़ की
obsessed with
सक्सेस
it.
पे we should be obsessed with it.
Yes, it should be our first and foremost priority. In fact,
Enough for feminism.
just to start off, I think we need to take smaller steps, like as individuals, ke set goals for yourself. Okay, by the end of this year, I have to be this good in this thing, or I have to be this good in studies. I have to get a job this good. If you're talking about fitness, maybe you have to start gym. You have to get like this level of fitness. Most of the people, they can't run like 5 kilometers a day. Like fitness, I think it also plays a very good role in discipline,
Yes.
where it teaches you consistency. Because
Consistency.
one day you skip the gym, next 3 days आपको जाने का दिल नहीं करता.
हाँ, ऐसा
So
ही
you
है.
have to, you know this के rest day के अलावा मैंने किसी दिन gym नहीं छोड़ना. So I think that's one of the things which like it teaches you कि consistent होना कितना important है. And without consistency there are no results. बिकॉज अगर आप मूड पे चलेंगे ना कि आज मूड अच्छा है, चलो आज मैं कर लेता हूँ काम,
It will
आज
take you
मुझे अच्छा,
nowhere.
इट विल टेक यू नो वेयर.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you. क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो का मैं इंटरव्यू सुन रही थी.
जी.
वो उससे उसके सक्सेस का राज पूछ रहे थे. तो कहता है अगर मैं बता भी दूंगा तो ज़्यादातर लोग नहीं करेंगे.
यस.
Because it's a very hard path.
या आई एम अ ह्यूज फैन ऑफ क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो एक्चुअली.
Okay,
मैं
yeah.
बहुत फॉलो करता हूँ उसको. सो आई
उसने
थिंक
क्या
ही इज एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ हार्ड
एग्जाम्पल उसने क्या
वर्किंग.
आई एम वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट ऑन माई ओन सेल्फ.
यस.
कहता है मेरा सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन बहुत हाई है.
बहुत ज़्यादा
बहुत है.
है.
कहता है आई कैन टेल यू द एग्जैक्ट रूट टू सक्सेस बट
या.
most people will not do it.
यस.
Even I tell them exactly how to do it because you have to be very hard on yourself.
You have to be very hard. Matlab, if you look at Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, he's 39 now. He's still playing professional football at the highest level. And most people, they retire at 33, 34 because they start to feel old. But he has not done that yet because he has been disciplined from the very start. उसने अपना स्लीप स्केजुअल अपने वर्क के हिसाब से रखा हुआ है कि आई हैव टू बी अ प्रोफेशनल फुटबॉलर, मेरा स्लीप स्केजुअल ये होना चाहिए, आई हैव टू ईट दिस, आई हैव टू स्टे हेल्दी, आई हैव टू डू ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स.
We want to be rich like them.
या.
But we forget that कि उनका
कि
discipline
the discipline that they
has
have,
taken
it's
them there.
unmatchable. Like Cristiano Ronaldo, he's the most popular person on the planet right now, and that's for a reason. Like he has worked 20, 25 years consistently every single day of the week to achieve where he is today. I feel like it's a good example for people to look at him and see ke,
Not to see the figures he is making,
yeah.
also see the self discipline he is having in his life.
Yes, because it goes a long journey. Like it's not just कि आप footballer हैं तो आपका discipline है, ठीक है. It also applies in your like personal life as well. आपका family के साथ क्या रवैया है, आपके friends के साथ क्या situation है. So you need to maintain all of those relationships as well.
Right.
So if you're hardworking, if you're harsh on yourself, it's
And
better
disciplined
कि,
enough.
yeah, it's better कि कोई और आप पे सख्ती करे, आप खुद से करें अपने
खुद
आप
से
पे
करें.
सख्ती.
Very right.
Because the way you will be strict on yourself, no one else can be, and no one can guide you as much as you can to yourself.
And also you will motivate yourself.
Yes.
You don't have to see other motivational videos.
Yeah. So if you're motivating yourself, you've set up goals. Like let's talk about fitness, for example. अगर आपका goal है कि okay, I have to, if I'm overweight, I need to lose like let's say 40 kg. And if your goal is like okay, 3 महीने में मैंने 10 kg करना है कम. And if you end up doing like 11 kg, you'll be motivated by yourself. You'll look in
Right.
the mirror, you'll feel good, and you'll be like, ठीक है, ये तो बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. I'll continue on this journey. So I feel like अगर आप छोटे-छोटे अपने लिए goals रखते हैं, वो आपके एक बिगर टास्क को थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा क्लियर कर देते हैं, कंसाइज कर देते हैं, और आपको समझ आती है कि करना क्या है. बिकॉज इफ़ यू आर लुकिंग एट अ गोल इन अ ह्यूज लेवल, बहुत बड़ा एक गोल है, मुझे ये अचीव करना है, देन यू कैन नॉट डू इट बिकॉज आपको देखने में बहुत बड़ा लगता है. इट साउंड्स
Okay.
इम्पॉसिबल.
Very right. मैंने बहुत जगह ये भी सुना है कि वो कहते हैं if you see a very successful person or if you have a success in your mind, okay, keep that and then from there do the backward engineering. उसके लिए आपको आज क्या स्टेप लेना है, आपको इस मंथ क्या लेना है, इस ईयर क्या लेना है.
Yeah, and change should always start from today.
That's right.
Not tomorrow, not in the morning, not at night. It should start right now.
That's
So if you're thinking, okay, ये बात तो सही कह रहा है, but I'll start tomorrow, then you just lost at the very first step. कि आपने अभी start नहीं किया. Because as soon as you think about something, you should start it immediately. क्योंकि आप जब procrastinate करना शुरू करते हैं ना, ये कल कर लूँगा, फिर कल आती, फिर आप कल, it never happens.
वो
So,
कहते हैं क़यामत का दिन आ गया, वो कल कल का इंतजार करते करते.
यही होता है बिल्कुल. So you have to fix deadlines. You need to know कि इस time तक ये चीज़ complete हो जानी चाहिए.
Right, and then success becomes your habit.
Yes.
You
then
know
you're
that you can
used to
keep the
it.
target and you can achieve it.
Yes. And then when you don't achieve it, you feel terrible, and then you work harder to achieve it.
To achieve
तो
it.
क्योंकि आपकी वो एक habit बन जाती है कि मुझे achieve करना है target, because you're not used to failing then.
Right.
So then you actually don't fail. And even if you do, then you work like twice as hard to regain that status of being successful.
Right. Thank you, Waleed, so much. Thank you for
You're
being
welcome.
here. Okay, this was it from today's podcast. Waleed was with me and we talked about boys. And thank you for listening. See you in next podcast. Allah Hafiz.